In today's video, we are going to bring a recap of a fantasy and romantic Korean show called Tale of the Nine-Tailed. Lee Yan is the nine-tailed fox and is over 1,000 years old. He used to be the mountain guardian spirit in his past life, but he gave up being the spirit to save his lover. He spends many centuries in human life in search for the reincarnation of his lost love and eradicates supernatural beings that threaten the mortal world. On the other hand, Nam Jaya works as a producer for a TVC station. When she was younger, she got into a mysterious car accident with her parents. She was the only survivor while her parents' bodies disappeared. She soon finds herself surrounded by evil spirits, but Lee Yan arrives right on time to save her. The show begins as the family drives down the road. All the streetlights suddenly go off and something flies over their car, causing the car to flip badly. Young Jaya turns out to be the only survivor while her parents are lying helplessly in their seats. Jaya sees two figures walking around their car, and they are apparently the spirits of her parents. The scene then cuts to Jaya waking up thinking that it was just a bad dream. But she quickly senses that something is wrong and her real parents are not around. She is right though, as they are the evil spirits. She rushes into the room and locks herself in. Just then, Lee Yan arrives to save her. He uses his magic and tells her to forget everything she has seen. Following this, she finds herself back at the accident site where her parents are nowhere to be found. 21 years have passed since then, and now we see Lee Yan heading out with his red umbrella to a wedding ceremony. It turns out that the bride is a fox who has a bloodthirsty past, indicating that she must have killed many humans. Lee Yan is here to kill her. After a few moments, he overpowers her and disintegrates her into ash, erasing the memories of others. Grown-up Jaya also happens to be there, and as she sees Lee Yan leaving the room, she immediately recognizes him from her apartment all those years ago, indicating that his magic didn't work on her and she still remembers him. She then goes to the wedding hall, where everyone claims that the bride ran away, but Jaya is sure that there is something wrong. She spots the wedding gown and sees some blood and fur that belongs to a very rare species of fox on it. She takes it to the forensic doctor, but little does she know that he is also a fox and friend of Yan. Later, she suspects Yan of what happened at the wedding as she sees the camera footage. Meanwhile, Yan visits the Afterlife Imagination office, and it turns out that he has been assigned the duty to punish the bad foxes. Moreover, he made this choice himself because in his past, he asked for the resurrection of his lover, Aeum, in exchange for living as the nine-tailed fox. Just then, he receives a call from Shinju, who informs him about Jaya bringing the fur to him, and that now people are looking for the man in the red umbrella, who is obviously Yan. Jaya decides to track down Yan, and in order to do so, she meets a weird-looking guy who informs her of the whereabouts of Yan. It is revealed that the guy is actually a 600-year-old shapeshifter, and he is Yan's younger brother, Lee Rang. Jaya goes to meet our protagonist, who is riding a bus, but she is stopped by a drunk man, causing her to miss the bus. The situation in the bus gets worse when it crashes on the same road on which Jaya's parents disappeared. Yin vanishes from the scene and everyone on the bus dies, but only one girl named Soo-young survives, who is rushed to the hospital. Later, Jaya and Yin finally get to talk, and she is sure that Yan is the one behind all of this. She is clever and manages to get his fingerprints, but not clever enough to figure out that there is something wrong with Soo-young. Without knowing who she is, she allows the girl to stay at her place for the night. Soon it is revealed that she is the one who killed everyone on the bus, and Yan was there to stop her. Moreover, she is not even the real Soo-young, as she suddenly transforms into Lee Rang. But before he could harm Jaya, Yan shows up and a terrible fight breaks out. Jaya secretly records everything, and when Lee Rang leaves, Yan tries to hypnotize her into forgetting everything. But thanks to the recording, she remembers everything, and she suddenly falls backward off the building, causing Lee Yan to save her. However, she injects something in his body. In Yan's flashbacks, we see his past life when he used to live as a free spirit until he met Aeum. Gradually, she grew up and Yan fell in love with her. The two were happy, but their love story has a tragic end as Aeum dies. But Yan tells her to be reincarnated and promises her spirit that he will find her again. In the following years, he finds a number of girls resembling Aeum, but he is still unable to find the real one. Back to the present, he and Jaya both recognize each other from 21 years ago. And he saved her all those years ago because he believed that Aeum was reincarnated as Jaya, but he was mistaken. Jaya somehow manages to convince him to find her parents in exchange for erasing everything against him. Later, he informs her that her parents are not on the death list, indicating that they are still alive, but he is not aware of their location. Moments later, she finds herself surrounded by a monster who feeds on nightmares. Thankfully, Yan arrives right on time and saves her again. Elsewhere, some fishermen find a massive skull and realize it is of their close friend, Mr. Seo. Jaya and Yan leave for the island to investigate the case. Upon reaching, they head to the forest and meet the forest spirit, from whom they learn that the island is consumed by something evil and that entity has also captured the forest spirit. Jaya frees the spirit, and in return, she tells Jaya to head to the north to learn more about her parents. Moments later, she heads to the northern side of the island and finds a cave that her parents visited when she was in her mother's womb. The next morning, Mr. Seo's friend tries to attack Jaya with a hammer, but Yan shows up to save her. As he patches up her wound, suddenly her skin color changes, and she tells him that she's the one who he's looking for and asks why he killed her. It seems like Aeum is possessing Jaya, but she quickly returns to her normal state. This makes Yeon shocked. Elsewhere, Mr. Seo's other friend keeps his head in the toilet and drowns to death. It is revealed that Mr. Seo and his 3 friends were stranded in the sea for 28 days, and when they return home, Mr. Seo was not with them. Coming back to the present, all of the survivors are gradually dying. Yeon and Jaya meet another survivor, and it is revealed that when they were stranded in the sea, they ate Mr. Seo's flesh in order to survive. On the back of this, Rang meets Mr. Seo's daughter and informs her that there's only one left, indicating that he is the one who's killing all the survivors. Later, he appears before a strange well that holds an evil spirit, who is Yeon's enemy. And it is obvious that he is plotting something dangerous for his brother out of hatred towards him. Jaya bumps into a woman who claims that she knows her parents. She senses that something is wrong, so she decides to leave, but she suddenly collapses because of the poisonous incense that is lit inside the house. It turns out that the woman has already set up everything to sacrifice her for the island. Yin shows up at the scene and manages to overpower the barrier set up by the woman. He eventually saves Jaya and kills the shaman, but her blood appears to enter the well, causing the ritual to be fulfilled. Later, the villagers find a baby inside the well, and we see Rang handing the baby to an unknown person. It is clear that the baby is the evil spirit who has been awakened. The next day, Yeon and Jaya discover that the entire island is empty and all the people have disappeared. Yoon questions Rang about this, and they start to argue. We then cut back in time and see Rang going crazy and wiping out an entire village. He asks Yeon to join him, but he refuses. This is where their rivalry began. Back to the present, Yeon is punished for killing the human shaman from before. Meanwhile, Rang meets Jaya and tells her the truth about Aeum. She's absolutely shocked to hear this, and as she heads back, she is suddenly surrounded by 2 strange twin spirits who start to choke her. Yeon senses that Jaya is in danger, so he speeds up his punishment to save her. Thankfully, he returns back at the last second and saves Jaya from her terrible fate. The awakened evil baby from before has grown up now, and his name is Imuji. He needs to consume humans from time to time in order to survive, and he is brought up by the president of TVC. Whereas Yeon and Jaya have started to get along with each other as they spend quality time together, and Yeon tells her more about his first love, Aeum. Later, he visits the Afterlife Immigration Office to learn the whereabouts of Jaya's parents. He discovers that the governor knows their location. He takes Jaya with him and heads out to meet the governor. Before that, Jaya dresses up in traditional clothing. Upon seeing her, Yeon immediately remembers Aeum. He loses his control and kisses her right away. This makes them a bit awkward, but they decide to move on. Rang also happens to be there, and he goes to meet the fortune teller. His sole purpose here is to get the special glasses which will help him see his past life. However, he needs to give his most precious thing to the teller in order to get the glasses. On the other hand, the duo gets to meet the governor, and it turns out that the man who tried to kill Jaya's parents is a human, and Jaya was his real target, not her parents. Well, this is because the spirit of the Dragon King resides in her. Anyway, Rang calls the 2 at the fortune teller's place and sells Yeon away because, unexpectedly, he is Rang's most precious belonging. With that, Rang gets the glasses and Yeon is taken by the teller. However, it is revealed that it was all Yeon's plan from the start, and the shoes he makes Rang wear will take him to the man responsible for Jaya's family's accident, and that man is none other than the president. Later, Jaya asks the teller to let go of Yeon, but as per the rule, she has to give him her most precious thing. The teller notices a fox bead inside her and demands it in exchange for Yeon's release. Without knowing what it is, she gives it away and gets Yeon back. Later, Yeon visits the Afterlife office and gets to know that his enemy Imuji has returned and the Dragon King's spirit residing inside Jaya has awakened. In the meantime, Jaya has a nightmare in which she meets Imuji, and when she wakes up she happens to have scales on her neck. The scales on her neck soon disappear, and when Yeon gets back, she informs him about her nightmare. Moments later, the TV crew arrives at the president's house. Jaya goes to use the washroom, but she hears some weird noises coming from the room where Imuji is. After consuming his babysitter, he has turned into a grown-up man. Just before Jaya opens the door, she receives a call from Yeon, who encourages her to head home. Later, she receives a parcel, and when she opens it, she finds a pair of glasses given by Rang so that she can see her past life through them. As she puts the glasses on, she sees her former self, Aeum. It is revealed that Aeum was the daughter of the king, and she knew Imugi possessed her father. He told Jae to bring Yan, but back then Yan was the guardian spirit and he couldn't leave the forest. So she asked Imugi to possess her instead in order to save her father. Eventually, Yan had to kill Aeum because Imugi was inside her. Back to the present, Rang meets Imugi and he informs Rang that he wants to marry Jae. After that, Imugi hires an evil lady who has the power to trap people in illusions, and she feeds on people's fears. She then traps Rang and Jae in the situations they fear the most and asks Yan to decide whom he will save. He has a tough choice to make and eventually decides to save Rang. And with that, our recap comes to an end. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, see you next time.